The smash is more like a category of cocktails than it is just a single drink. In fact, it's a little bit confusing because it all started as something very similar to another type of drink, and then it evolved into something quite unique. So today we're gonna set things straight, make everything clear, talk about the history and make some drinks along the way, and by the end of this video I guarantee you will be able to create your own smash. So without further ado, if you guys are ready, smash that subscribe button if you haven't already, and let's go make some smash cocktails. Let's go. Alright, so once upon a time, the julep and the smash were almost identical. Both were made out of spirit, sugar, mint, and crushed ice. The only thing that was differentiating them was, aside from the beautiful little metal cup the julep was served in, is actually the size, the volume of the cocktail, and the method used to make them. The julep was a little bit larger in size and the mint was stirred with the sugar to extract the flavor, while the smash was a little bit smaller and the mint was modeled, hence the name, the smash. But even that is a little bit confusing because if you go back to the oldest print of a smash in a book in 1862 in Jerry Thomas's book, both cocktails were made by modeling the mint. The only real difference was the size of the cocktail, the julep being slightly bigger. So let's make the classic smash according to Jerry Thomas. We're gonna need in our glass to add a couple of mint leaves, about 8 or 10. Then we're gonna add 1 teaspoon of granulated sugar with 2 tablespoons of water. Then we're gonna muddle to extract the flavors. And then I'm gonna add 1 wine glass of cognac, which was back then equivalent to 2 fluid ounces. So 2 ounces or 60 mils of cognac. We're gonna add some crushed ice, churn to chill and dilute. Then we're gonna fill the glass all the way up with more crushed ice, garnish with a mint bouquet, and complete with a straw. And there have it, Jerry Thomas classic brandy smash. Cheers. The sweetness is perfectly balanced, the mint flavor is very well present, and of course the spirit is the star of the show. We're not far from a mint julep, actually it's pretty identical. The only difference aside from the look of it is the size of it. According to Thomas, we would need 1 wine glass and a half of spirit for 1 tablespoon of sugar in a mint julep, while in this one we only added 1 wine glass of spirit for 1 teaspoon of sugar. But if you would make them both side by side, they would taste exactly the same. So over the years, the smash went out of fashion and the julep became kind of the standard for this category of cocktails, so much so that about 50 years after Jerry Thomas's book, in Harry Craddock's Savoy cocktail book, there's only a small mention of the smash category, saying that the smash is nothing but a julep on a small plant. And then they almost completely disappeared until the 1990s, when DeGroff brought them back with his own version of the drink, creating a whole new category of cocktails. DeGroff is one of the most iconic faces when it comes to cocktail renaissance, and his version of the whiskey smash is without a doubt one of his biggest contributions. He says that at one point he was getting bored at making smashes or juleps, so he added a couple of lemon wedges into the mix, muddled them with the mint, and created a whole new style of cocktails. Kind of a midpoint between the julep and the sours, but not as acidic and tart as a sour would be, but with very interesting brightness from the citruses that was balancing the sugar and making for an even more refreshing drink. And from then, the smash category became something very unique with its own identity that was no longer fighting another category of cocktails because it was so similar, but something very special with a specific template, and a lot of bartenders use this template to create new modern classic like the gin basil smash, just to name one. But now let's make DeGroff's classic whiskey smash. We're gonna need about half a lemon for this one, and I like to prep my lemon pieces ahead of time. It just makes it easier. I cut the lemon in half and then each half in 4 pieces. Then I remove the seeds and the excess pith. That way it's easier to muddle and it's also tastes better. So then in the shaker, we're gonna add about 6 to 8 mint leaves, our 4 pieces of lemon. Then using a muddler, we're gonna press on the lemon pieces to extract all the juice. It's also gonna extract some of the lemon oils. That's gonna add a lot of flavor to the cocktail. Then we're gonna add half an ounce or 15 ml of simple syrup and 2 ounces or 60 ml of bourbon. I'm gonna fill the shaker with ice and give it a good shake for 10 to 15 seconds. This one's gonna be served in a double rocks glass, and I like to use a big chunk of clear ice here, but you can also use cubes if you want. We're gonna fine strain the cocktail to get rid of all the impurities and the little pieces of mint. We're gonna garnish it with a mint sprig, and I like to add a lemon wedge in case you want to rectify the acidity. And there I have it, DeGroff's cocktail that gave back the identity to the smash category. Cheers. I think I described it pretty well in the intro of the cocktail. It's kind of a midpoint between a julep and a sour. It's not as sharp, not as tart, but you definitely get a lot of brightness from the lemon, but you also get a little bit of bitterness and extra flavor from the lemon oil, which really contributes a lot to the beauty of this cocktail. There's nothing too crazy about it, but it works marvelously, and I can understand easily why this cocktail became such a hit in the 1990s, because back then so many cocktails were made out of cheap stuff and sour mixes. So here using fresh lemons, fresh herbs, and a quality bourbon really makes for an outstanding cocktail, super easy to replicate at home or at any other bars. So no surprise here, this became a modern classic. It also paved the way for so many bartenders still today who want to create some cocktails following that template. And that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna make one of my smash recipe. And remember, I told you in the beginning of the video, if you watch till the end, you will be able to create your own smash recipe. Well, by following the tips and tricks I'm gonna give you while making my own smash, you will be able to apply this after and create your own. So let's make together the Prince, the Whale, and the Sage. This cocktail is actually a riff on the Prince of Wales cocktail, which is a champagne cocktail, and I transformed it into a smash just to show that you can take pretty much any cocktail that you like that is out of this category and transform it into a smash. To summarize, the smash cocktails are made out of spirit, sweetener, fresh herbs, and citruses. You can also add many other ingredients if you want. You can use your imagination. Just make sure that the flavor of the ingredients are pairing together, and following the template, you should be able to make a great cocktail. So let's build it, and along the way, I'm going to talk about a couple of key points that I believe make a huge difference to make a better smash. So first, I'm going to slice my lemon in two and juice 3/4 of an ounce of it. Then I'm gonna add that to the shaker. I'm gonna slice the husk in 4 pieces, add that to the shaker as well, with a piece of pineapple of about 1 inch by 1 inch, and also 5 to 6 sage leaves. I really like to do my smashes that way because it allows me to balance the cocktail perfectly while still having some citrus oils incorporated in the recipe. In the one we just made, I'm sure you remember, we muddled the lemons to extract the juice, and for me, it's not the best way to do so because you never really know how much juice you're gonna extract, and it's really hard to know for sure that you're gonna balance the sweetness you added by measuring it. So for me, by doing as I just did, we are going to be able to have a perfect balance, and we're not gonna compromise on the flavor because we're still gonna add the oils back into the cocktail by adding the husk and then muddling. Speaking of which, we're gonna muddle all that to extract the flavors from the sage, also to extract the juice and flavor from the pineapple, and to mix all that together. Then we're gonna add 1 ounce or 30 ml of rye whiskey, 1 ounce or 30 ml of pineapple rum, half an ounce or 15 ml of maraschino liqueur, same amount of simple syrup, and 1 dash of Angostura bitters. Always double up when using a small Japanese dasher bottle, like this one. Then we're gonna fill the shaker with ice and give it a good shake for about 10 to 15 seconds. Once again, fine strain this in a double rocks glass filled up with ice. And for the Prince, the Whale, and the Sage, I'm gonna garnish this with a single sage leaf. Cheers. In this one, we're getting pretty complex with the different sugar, the addition of bitters, the fruit, the different herb, and it works really nicely. If you are not familiar with the Prince of Wales cocktail, it's a champagne drink with rye whiskey, maraschino, pineapple, and Angostura. So the only acidity is provided by the kind of slight acidic feel from the champagne. Here we're using the lemon to replace that and to boost it up a little bit. And because I wanted to transform this into a smash, I added some sage. Of course, I could have used fresh mint. I'm sure it would have worked marvelously, but for me, sage and pineapple is just a match made in heaven, and this is just a way to prove it because it works so well. So keep that in mind. If you want to transform a cocktail you like into a smash, or if you want to create one of your own, just follow the same template. Use 2 ounces of spirit, 3/4 of an ounce of lemon or lime. Use the husk of the fruit to add some depth. Choose your flavor angle. For me here it was pineapple and sage, and then balance that with your complementary sugar. And keep in mind, usually smashes are not as tart as sours, so an equal part of tartness to sweetness usually cuts it, but you can also use just a little bit more sweetness if you want to make it more a smash. So my friends, this is it for me today. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a thumbs up if you did. Don't forget to subscribe before you go. Turn that bell if you want to make sure not to miss the next one. And until then, thank you very much again. Have a great day and see you very soon. Cheers. It's so refreshing. I'm gonna start the AC right now.